Now, what does your day really look like working from home? I'm not talking about those Instagram photos. I'm talking about what it really, really looks like. And I can attest the work-life balance is not an easy thing to master. Now, I've been working online for the last decade and more, and I've learned a thing or two about mastering this elusive work-life balance. And in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing some solid tips and tricks to get you feeling in control of your life and your business. Hi there, I'm Sarah Noked, CEO and founder of OBM School, and I teach people just like you my proven strategies and techniques for scaling a profitable online business, working with the right clients, offering the right kinds of services, and confidently charging rates that will empower you to live life by your own design. But the truth is, for many years, I actually struggled severely with my work-life balance. It wasn't always an easy thing for me to keep it all together. I've got 3 little kids. Even though I started this business before I had those kids, I still have 3 little kids. I have a thriving community. We have all of our programs. There's a lot happening in the online space. Now, working from home has a ton of benefits, and in today's video, I really want to dive into how you can really avoid sabotaging yourself and really learn to embrace this flow and ultimately achieve work-life balance. And I'm gonna share with you some tips and tricks, starting with one of my big ones, and that is time blocking. Now, time blocking was something that I started doing about 5 or 6 years ago, and it has served me well, so much so that I have my entire family doing this time blocking thing. You know, my husband's in the loop. We kind of time block together to manage the kids as well, so that I can have my time to work and, you know, he can have his time to work as well, and we can all kind of manage this work-life balance together. So I want to take a second to take you behind the scenes into what it looks like in my calendar firsthand from a time blocking perspective. So here is a look behind the scenes at what my calendar looks like. So here's a typical week in the day or in the week of my life. I don't start work until 10:30 every day. So I'm out of the office until about 10:30. That gives me enough time to do yoga, have a shower, eat breakfast, and then I get into working. So on Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I'm doing my OBM stuff for a few hours every morning. That is usually OBMing in conjunction with my OBM on my own team. And we are, doing the rigmarole of project management, team management, systems management, ops management, all that fun stuff that we do as OBMs for online businesses and offline businesses. So I'm just making sure that things are moving, that the team is where they need to be. If there's specific projects or things that I need to do, this is the time that I do them. And on Wednesdays, Tovi, my OBM, we have our recurring weekly meeting. And we also have recurring meeting on Sundays. So I like to touch base with my OBM on Sundays and on Wednesdays just to make sure everything is moving along and we are meeting deadlines and we have the right things in place. I like to show up on Mondays and Tuesdays, meaning I don't really like to have meetings necessarily outside of Mondays, Tuesdays, and a little bit on Wednesdays. So I have my sales calls booked in for, this is where I talk to people about OBM certification program. And if they want to, step into the various different tiers with us, that's when I will do my sales calls on Mondays, on Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays. And I do all my lead management also on these days. And I also have, as I mentioned, my husband and I are in sync when it comes to our time blocking. So, I'm out of the office Sunday afternoons and Wednesdays and Thursdays. And these are the days where I'm with my kids during the week. So here the week actually runs from Sunday to Thursday. Also in the evenings. Like I always, even if I am working on Mondays and Tuesdays, because Tuesdays is the day also where I often am teaching. That is my teaching day. Mondays is my video day. Sundays is my planning day. Like every day is themed. I really like to have themes in order. So in the evenings, I always like to have some time out to make sure that I'm putting my kids to sleep and all that good stuff. So this is typically what the blocking looks like. And so on Tuesdays and on Mondays, my husband takes the kids in the afternoons. And on every other day of the week, I'm with my children. So here's what a typical week looks like with regard to blocking time. So, even these are free on my calendar so that, If someone's using my Calendly link, they can still book a meeting with me over time if I have my meeting set to be booked. But I know for myself, that's typically when I am, doing my internal OBM work or work with clients if I have clients at that point. And I hope this has helped you to understand what it really looks like to time block in a way that gives you the freedom and flexibility to be the designer of your own day. Now, my next tip is one that is probably very obvious, but sometimes is not really achieved. And that is having an end of day routine. I talked about how I'm not a morning person. I don't necessarily have some buttoned up morning routine, although I do really try to block off, as you saw, my time to do yoga in the morning and try to eat a breakfast or make myself a green smoothie, which is what it normally looks like. I don't really do much more than that, but I find that for me, it's really important to have a solid end of day routine, because if not, I will just keep going and going and going until the wee hours of the morning, and it's not healthy for me, and it's definitely not healthy for my work-life balance. Thinking about what you can do at the end of your day to shut things down. So it might look like going for a walk. It might look like talking to a friend. It might look like taking a bath or having a tea or something like that. It doesn't need to be huge or over the top, but it needs to definitely set the tone that things are winding down. I find that as somebody who has clients in different time zones and students in different time zones, I'm often working till 10:30 at night. That is very typical for me. I actually really like working in the evenings. As a result, I get very sort of pumped up at the end of the night, and it takes me about an hour to bring it down. So I've put some measures in place, like going for a walk or calling a friend or having a tea, that tell me and my body that the day is done. Otherwise, the wheels keep on spinning. Now, the other thing I do to close my day is I'll sit and I will journal and I will put down what I want to achieve the following day. I'll have a look at my teamwork PM, my project management tool, to see what's on tap so that I can be clear about what's happening the next day. Otherwise, sometimes I will literally lie in bed and my mind will be spinning, and I've been known at times to keep a pad next to my bed so that I can, write down these thoughts. Now, that is not an ideal situation. That definitely doesn't help me have a good night's sleep. So I want you to do these things before, as you're winding down, as you're closing out for the day, at whatever time you close down your day, and then that's it. If you are doing client work, you're not looking at your Facebook chat, you're not looking at Slack, you're not looking at any of the ways that clients are reaching out to you. You're definitely not checking your email. You are shut down for the evening. So I want you to really, really think about mastering this end of day routine for yourself so that you can really have this distinction between the workday and the evening. Because the truth is, I'm lucky my office is upstairs. I cannot look at my office, but for a lot of us, and for me included, my office was for a period of time in my bedroom before I moved it into my child's nursery, and it was even out in my front porch. So the office is sometimes in your face all the time, and that becomes very difficult for us because we're always, work is always on our mind because it's always right there. So if that is your situation and your office is in your bedroom or your office is in plain sight, then you really need to further emphasize what this looks like. It might be about closing your laptop and moving it aside. Whatever that looks like to you, think about it and have a clear plan for mastering your end of day routine so you can stay in this flow. Now, I mentioned that I'm not a morning person, but I do really like to start my day off right. I like to start my day with exercise, whether it's going for a walk or doing some yoga. I have an hour blocked at the beginning of my day, because I usually don't start until about 10, because as I mentioned, I like to work into the wee hours of the night, and then I have a period of time where I pick up my kids and I'm spending time with my kids. Now, when it comes to the beginning of the day, you really need to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. That means, eating breakfast. It means maybe getting out and doing some exercise. It means maybe putting together a to-do list. Whatever your morning routine looks like, it has to be one that starts your day off right, that starts your day off with success. So for me, for many years, it was about chugging as much coffee as I could in the morning, and then hitting my client work, and then 1 or 2 o'clock rolls around and I haven't eaten yet. And the truth is that is so detrimental to your health. It is detrimental to your long-term success as an entrepreneur that, is working on our own hours, on our own calendar, it's detrimental. So I want you to really think about the things that you need to do in the morning and make it a habit to eat breakfast, to work out in the morning if you have time to do that, to have the things in place that get your day started off on the right foot. Now, the next big piece is managing your energy throughout the day. It is a wild ride as entrepreneurs. We have the highs and we have the lows and we have all the things in between. And energetically, it is crucial to be managing your levels of energy. And that's why I make it an important part of my morning routine to work out. I get it out of the way in the morning. I feel like, okay, now I can sit at my desk for as many hours as I want, and I've still done something really good for myself and for my health. But it's not just about working out, it's also about managing your energy throughout the day, keeping your energy in check. And this is something that is a problem as an entrepreneur because every day we are faced with difficult experiences with clients, having to manage this work-life balance. All of these things can be very, very taxing on our energy. And I want you to be aware of that and aware of the fact that it can really be detrimental to your energetic being. So in order to mitigate the expense or the toll that it takes on your energy, you need to have things in place throughout the day that bring your energy back. It might be that you have certain things baked into your schedule, like a call with a friend, or maybe you have a coach that you work with, or maybe you're going out for lunch with your husband or with a friend, or maybe it's a massage. Kudos to you if you've been able to bake that into your schedule, but you need to be doing things that really bring the energy back to you so that you can really feel secure. I mean, I love working out. That's always my catch-all. That really helps me feel like I am in balance, but everybody has their own cup of tea when it comes to this thing. I just want you to think about what are some of the things. It might be about like having a quiet moment with yourself and, sitting down and having a coffee outside, or, taking 10 minutes to do something for yourself. Maybe it's about binging on YouTube for 10 or 20 minutes. You want to have these set containers of time where you can do the things that you need to do in order to get your energy levels back to where they need to be and to energetically feel settled in yourself. And again, a lot of these client interactions can throw us off kilter. So you want to have these baked in ahead of time to know, okay, it's Friday, today is a quieter day, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z in order to balance my energy today. Also recognizing your flow as women, and I know a lot of people that are subscribers to this channel are women, and most of my students are women as online business managers, and one of the things that we have to be aware of is our own personal flow as women. There is this amazing book called Flow, which I read years ago. It was actually recommended to me by a friend, and the thing that I love about this book is it really talks about how our flow, both our menstrual cycle as well as our hormonal flow really has a lot to do with our creativity, with our balance. And there are times of the month where we should be focusing on certain things and times of the month where we should be focusing on other things. And it really lends to the fact that we are unique beings that aren't just the same every day. We have different flows that we really need to stay on top of. And so this book is a really great recommendation for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about getting in touch with that flow and how to really maintain your feminine energy and keep it balanced. Now, the next big tip that I have for you, and this is something that I really, really preach in all of my programs, is planning. We strategically plan for our clients as online business managers, but are you strategically planning your own business? Do you have a plan for the next 90 days? Do you have a plan for the next year? Or have you created a business plan for yourself this year? And what does that look like? Are you meeting your goals? Are you tracking your goals? And are you thinking big picture about what this looks like for you? So plan, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And I want you guys to be successful. So when it comes to planning, you really do need to have your A game on and be thinking about what are the things that I need? What are the goals that I have for myself? And from the goals, really work back to your planning. Now, planning is definitely one of those tips and tricks that's very, very important and very, very key, both as online business managers for our clients, doing the strategic planning, the mind mapping, the types of things we do with our clients. But in the same breath, it's also really critical for you to plan things in your own business and be thinking about what are your goals, what do you want to achieve, and then coming up with a plan to successfully achieve those goals. And without a plan, you plan to fail. So when we are thinking about planning, we are really thinking about what are our goals. Now, when it comes to achieving your goals in business and effectively planning, there is one acronym that we teach our students, and we teach them how to use and leverage this with their clients, and that is the SMART acronym. So when you're thinking about a goal for yourself in your business and you're getting ready to plan things out, you need to be looking at the SMART acronym. S, is it specific enough? Is your goal specific enough? In the sense of, is it like, oh, I want to make a lot of revenue? Or is it, I want to gain 3 clients to reach X amount of revenue by X date kind of thing. So you have to be very specific. Now, the next is measurable. You have to be able to measure the success of achieving this goal. So your goals are different from someone else's goals. So if you're like, oh, I want to make a lot of money in my business working online, it's not measurable enough because you can't really determine what that success looks like. Is that making $40,000 of revenue, or is it making $140,000 of revenue? So the next A in SMART is attainable. Is the goal attainable for you? Is it something that you can even achieve? If you're not putting time aside, if you're not time blocking the building of your business, then you're likely not going to land the clients that are going to help you achieve those goals financially. So, is it attainable? Now, R, is it realistic? Are you realistic about the goals that you have set for yourself? For example, in your first year of OBMing, you might have this goal of achieving the 6-figure, that's elusive 6 figures a year. But I tell most of my students, look, you're probably not going to reach 6 figures in your first year. That might be realistic for your second year in business, but it might not be realistic for your first year in business. So you need to be setting realistic goals for yourself. And then the last piece is timely. And timely is about the amount of time you've given yourself to reach that goal. So a lot of the times when we set this goal of like, I want to have a successful business. No, what does, first of all, defining what success looks like to you, and then saying, I want to be working X hours a week. That's what success looks like to me by X date. So having this time condition set on this goal is going to help you to actually meet it. So the timely or time-bound T is really about setting a date for yourself on when is this going to happen by. For me, a SMART goal might be, I want to land 3 clients by the end of January. And to me, that is specific enough. It's landing 3 clients. Measurable, it's 3 clients. So I know that when I reach 3 clients, I've measured my goal. Attainable, it is attainable because I'm working hard to build my OBM business. Is it realistic? Yes, I think it is realistic for me to land 3 clients by the end of January. And is it time bound? Yes, I have my January date on there. That is a SMART goal. And from that goal, I can now work backwards on my planning. So I said by January, I want to reach those 3 clients. What do I need to do up until then to plan successfully to make that happen? And that's why planning is critical to your success. And planning is very much tied to that goal setting. So goal setting and planning is really going to help you take your business to the next level. Now, I hope that you enjoyed my tips and tricks today. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit subscribe and click that little bell to be notified. Every time we go live, you will get that notification, and it really helps other people see these videos as well when you click that notification bell. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week.